In this edition of Hispo Media, I will bring to your view the story of Colonel Ibrahim Adetunji Taiwo, a Nigerian military officer whose journey in the army is a mix of gallantry, bravery, and controversy. Taiwo has been accused of playing a leading role in the murder of innocent citizens in Asaba during the Nigerian Civil War. Welcome to this edition of Hispo Media. Gabriel here. Ibrahim Adetunji Taiwo was born in 1940 in the northern Nigerian town of Wushishi, present-day Niger State. He was a brave and ambitious Nigerian military officer. He was born to the family of Adeosun and Emily Taiwo and was brought up in Kagara, another suburb in Niger State. His attachment to this town was well known among his peers and would result in his nickname, Ibrahim Kagara. His military career was marked by instances of loyalty, performances, and profound controversy. His ancestral origin is Ogbomosho in Oyo State in southwestern Nigeria. About a year after Nigeria gained independence in 1960, Ibrahim Taiwo joined the Nigerian Army in April 1961. His sharp intellect and fierce determination quickly set him apart. As Ibrahim Taiwo rose through the ranks, his life and career became deeply shaped by the nation's most troubling events, including the 1966 military coups, the Nigerian Civil War, and the infamous massacre in Asaba, and ultimately his own tragic assassination in 1976. But before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and hit the subscribe button below. Subscription is free. Thank you. Meanwhile, when Ibrahim Adetunji Taiwo reached the age of elementary education, he attended senior primary school in Minna. From here, he proceeded to Bida Middle School and briefly attended a provincial secondary school, Okene, for his higher school certificate examination. Like many young Nigerians of his time, Taiwo started developing love for the military. In April 1961, Ibrahim Taiwo joined the military and quickly began his military training at the Nigerian Military Training College in Kaduna. Some of his classmates included Inua Ushishi, Tomkat Bali, and Emmanuel Nwoboshi. Taiwo also attended the Mons Officer Cadet School in Aldershot, England. While in the army, he served as a mechanical transport officer, the officer commanding the 2 Brigade transport in Apapa. He was also staff captain, Army Headquarters in Lagos. Taiwo became officer in charge of the 8th Brigade Asaba and then officer in charge of the transport company in Kaduna. During the Nigerian Civil War, Taiwo was head of the Transport and Supplies Division of the Nigerian Army. He has also been mentioned severally in connection with the infamous mass murder that happened during the Nigerian Civil War in Asaba. Now, I'm talking about the Asaba massacre, but more on his role shortly. In July 1975, Ibrahim Taiwo was appointed a military governor of Kwara State. While in this position, he helped in the establishment of the University of Ilorin through a decree in August 1975. Meanwhile, after the January 15, 1966 military coup d'etat in Nigeria, northern officers began to plan their revenge coup. In July of the same year, that is about 6 months after the first coup, northern soldiers, including Captain Ibrahim Taiwo, took their own pound of flesh. I am talking about the counter coup of July 29, 1966. Captain Ibrahim Taiwo, who at that time was with the Lagos garrison in Yaba, was one of the many officers who participated in the revenge coup d'etat. He was in company of other officers, including 2nd Lieutenant Sani Abacha, Lieutenant Muhammadu Buhari, Lieutenant Ibrahim Bako, Lieutenant Colonel Murtala Muhammad, and Major Theophilus Danjuma, who anchored in Ibadan. The coup resulted in the death of the Supreme Military Commander, Major General J.T.U. Aguironsi, and many other officers of the Eastern region. It appears then that Ibrahim Taiwo now masters the art of coup plotting, as his name features prominently in the next coup. So what am I talking about? In 1975, Colonel Ibrahim Taiwo played a central role in the coup that ousted General Yakubu Gowon and brought Murtala Muhammad to power. Sources claim that Taiwo was first contacted by Brigadier Sheikh Musa Yaradua sometimes in late 1973 or early 1974 about the prospect of the purge. Colonel Taiwo was at that time based at the Supply and Transport Unit in Benin. Taiwo had previously come under suspicion of plotting against the regime. He was then redeployed from Benin after an investigation to take up duties as a staff officer in the 3rd Infantry Division, then based in Port Harcourt. Taiwo and Yaradua had been colleagues in the 2nd Division under Murtala Muhammad during the Nigerian Civil War. During the 1975 military coup, Ibrahim Taiwo worked closely with Lieutenant Colonel Muhammadu Buhari to remove General Yakubu Gowon. Meanwhile, during the Nigerian Civil War, Major Ibrahim Taiwo was said to have played a key role in the murder of innocent citizens in Asaba. The story is that around October 5, 1967, federal troops entered Asaba and began ransacking houses and killing civilians. Their claim was that the civilians were Biafran sympathizers. The climax of the killing came on October 7, 1967. According to the story, on the morning of October 7, community leaders had summoned the villagers at the village square in order to show support for one Nigeria. Hundreds of men, women and children wearing the ceremonial aquaculture white attire paraded along the main street, singing and dancing and chanting one Nigeria. At a junction in Ogbeosowa, men and teenage boys were separated from women and young children. Then, an order was reportedly given by Second-in-Command Major Ibrahim Taiwo to open fire. Hundreds of civilians were killed in this mindless attack that came to be known as Asaba massacre. About a decade later, Ibrahim Taiwo was murdered in a military coup attempt. At the time of the February 13, 1976 coup, Colonel Ibrahim Taiwo was a military governor of Kwara State. The failed coup, which happened to claim the life of the head of state, General Murtala Muhammad, also led to the killing of Colonel Ibrahim Taiwo. According to a report, Taiwo was murdered by some of the soldiers who were on his side during the Civil War in 1967. Major Kefas Ken Kagara ordered Lieutenant Obadiah Zani of the Defense Company 26th Infantry Brigade Ilorin to go grab the Kwara State Governor. Accompanied by Lieutenant Sunday Wire, the young subaltern carried out the instructions, abducted their target and took him to a bush in Amberi on Ajase Ipofa Road. Here, orders were reportedly given to Sergeant Amadou Rege and Bala Javan to fire. And that was the end of Colonel Ibrahim Taiwo. He was buried in his native town of Ogbomosho in Oyo State. Both him and his killers were raised in the north. While at Bida High School, Taiwo was 2 years ahead of Ibrahim Babangida, Abdulsalami Abubakar, Gado Nasco, Magoro, Maman Vasa, Sani Bello, Garba Duba, and Sani Sami. The military coup d'etat was led by Lieutenant Colonel Buka Suka Dimka. Meanwhile, General Olusegun Obasanjo, who was second in command to Murtala Muhammad, narrowly escaped assassination during the coup and was later appointed as head of state. For more on how Obasanjo was sentenced to death during Abacha regime, please click the video displayed here. Don't forget to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Hispo Media. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.